What is up and how is it going, gents and whoa gents? You're listening to the voice of Boom Nation, and today I am going to be bringing you all a Black Ops 2 Emblem tutorial. This one should be really good, just to give you a quick preview of what it looks like. There it is, as you can see on the right hand portion of the screen. That's the emblem we're going to be making today. You can see what it looks like on the calling card just below that. It looks pretty hot, looks pretty sexy. Now one thing you all may be thinking is, wow, that looks pretty easy, you know, just a few guns, a preset skull, the elite text, and a nice little banner looking shape there. But it's quite a bit more complicated than that, and particularly the skull. That took a lot of work. I've had a lot of people online tell me or ask me, you know, is that a preset? How do I unlock that? And my answer is no. I had to make that from scratch, and I'm going to dive into that in this tutorial. So basically the first thing I'm going to cover is the weapons. These should be the first of all your layers, pretty much. And I mean, they're pretty interesting. I just chose a light machine gun, an assault rifle, and a shotgun, and then you kind of angle them however you want. And I tried to make it look fairly similar to the CoD Elite Modern Warfare 3 logo that I searched online. I pulled up an image of that from Google, and yeah, I basically based this off of that, except I changed around the colors. I added my own personal touches, and overall I think it looks pretty nice. So these guns here, just make sure they're the first layers, because they're going to be behind the whole logo that you see right there. Like I said, angle them however you want. Make sure they're symmetrical on both sides. The copy and paste feature is fairly useful. As you can see here, in the bottom portion of your screen, it says press the back button to copy. So I click that, and then I go to an empty layer, and I click start to paste, and there it is. So that can be pretty useful. And moving on now, we're going to talk about how I made the actual shape of the logo of the main portion. So the first part is just a rectangle that I used the Freescale feature to create. As you see there under the control section, you can click down on the right stick to change it from Freescale to fixed scale. And basically to demonstrate what that means is, I'm going to go to an empty slot here. I'm going to pick a shape, right? Okay, let's shrink it down a little bit. And let's actually move it in front of all the layers so you can see it a little better. But there we go. And so this is, I'm in fixed scale right now. It holds its ratio of length to width, right, when I'm moving around the right stick. All of a sudden I switch to Freescale, and now it's contorting in different ways. I can stretch it, I can bend it, I can squeeze it. I can really mess with its shape and personalize it to exactly how I need it for my emblem. And I use that quite a bit in the creation of this logo, and that's why I would say this logo is about intermediate difficulty. It's not terribly hard, especially if you follow the exact steps that I took, but it is a little difficult, and it took some practice, it took some experience with the emblem editor to create this. Moving on now, let's go back into the shape and how I made it. So the base is this rectangle that, again, I used Freescale to create. I tacked on a nice little Freescale triangle at the bottom to make it look like a nice little banner shape, almost like an upside down house. Then I used the copy and paste feature that I showed you guys earlier. I copied this layer to this layer, changed the color, and then used a little tool here. If you click the start button, it'll say toggle outline, and so you can switch it to basically fill up the space, up the shape with the color, or just make the outline colored and the rest invisible. So that's what you want to do. You want to make the outline the only thing that's visible, and then you're going to just make sure that's centered right around the rectangle. I actually did this twice to thicken the outline a little bit, and you can do that as well if you wish. I did that with the triangle as well at the bottom. Now, interestingly enough, if I move this layer ahead, you can see this line right underneath the Elite text box right there. You see that? It's orange, and that is because I've outlined the entire triangle. Well, to counter that, I've placed the outline of the triangle behind this gray box right here. And I'll change the color just so you guys can see it. There it is. And basically, what I did is I made it a specific color, and I just made sure it blended in with the background of all the other boxes. And then what I did is I just covered up that orange line. And that can be pretty useful. And just keep that in mind if you ever need to cover anything up. This looks like it's the wrong color here. Let's go ahead and change that. There we go. Anyways, next up we're going to take a look at how I made the skull. So the top portion of the head is a semicircle that I've rotated. I don't think I freescaled it at all. but actually maybe I did just a tiny bit to make it look more like the shape of a head. And then this is the interesting part. I actually used 2 brooms to make it look more skull-like. And I based this, like I said, off of a logo from off of the CoD Elite logo on the Google Images. So it had these little notches out of the head to make it look more like a broken down skull. And so I used the top of a broom, the stick portion of a broom, to do that. And a nice little trick here is I actually made it the same color as the background, so that the only part that you can see is the part that's cut out of the semicircle, which is the head. So that was a nice technique. For the eyes, I used a pair of glasses. That worked out nicely. I thought I was going to have to freescale those eyes with a bunch of different shapes, but that worked out pretty well. Just make sure you try to cover up all the blank space. You don't want too much blank space. You want to make sure it fits just right. And that could be a little difficult at times, but you get it just right, and looks good right there. Right here we have kind of the cheekbones, and I freescaled those a little bit, rotated them around. You can play around with that, make it look how you want. And then up here we have a tube, a freescaled half tube, I believe it's referred to as. You can see I'm moving around there, and the face looks pretty weird without it. It's pretty essential, and all you gotta do is slide it into place, and it looks pretty good again. And here we have the nose pieces. I freescaled these just a tiny bit, and you can see me move this around and put it back in place, and it looks good right about there-ish. There we go. And I did that twice, and then just to fill up some blank spaces that were in the cheekbones, I used this. I freescaled it a little bit. This little, well, I don't even know what you want to call it, but kind of looks like almost a triangle. No, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a Pac-Man. That's what it does, like a rotated Pac-Man. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all really liked the logo, because that's the most important part. One thing I wanted to point out is this is completely customizable. That is one of the best parts about this logo. Most logos on YouTube, you need to use a specific color scheme. You need to use the specific shapes that I show you. And while it is recommended by me that you use the exact layout that I have here, it's not required by any means. And if you have any skill at all with the emblem creator, you could probably just create this yourself from scratch. Now, one thing I had was Call of Duty was written at the top portion of the logo. I took that away because it's really hard to line up text, but if you can go ahead and do that and you're good at it, by all means go for it. I think it makes it look better personally, but some people say simple is better, so that's what I have working here. Lots of ways you can customize this, guys. Add anything you want in the background. For instance, this monkey head, you can actually kind of make it look like it's flames in the background there, so if I make that like a nice red color, and then I went ahead and copy and pasted that, and then I do that a couple more times like that, maybe once more, and all of a sudden it looks like it's a flaming logo, so that's pretty cool. You can do lots of stuff, guys. Add in extra weapons on the side if you feel that's necessary. Whatever you want to do. My rule for this video is if we get over 30 likes, which I don't think is too much to ask for, if we get over 30 likes, I'll start doing more emblem tutorials in the future, which I think would be pretty awesome, because personally, I've really enjoyed this, and I hope you all did as well. 30 likes, guys. I hope we can get there, and please, please leave me some suggestions for more emblems in the comment section below. I love to listen to you guys, and I'd love to feature some of your ideas in future emblem tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, guys. You guys are freaking awesome, and have a great day.